Hello, my name is Archie Howard, owner of the channel At Boy From Air on TikTok, and this is a channel where I will be doing geography and gaming and maybe some music. So today, our category is literature. If you follow me already on TikTok, you'll know what literature is. Literature is a country that I made in 2021. The actual independence was 1929, but that was made up, of course. I wasn't born in 1929. Yeah, and start off. Here is the Le Ayrshire flag, and it actually symbolizes stuff. So, the yellow and black from here symbolizes the black and yellow walls from the country's border. And because of the three X's, it's because of Netherlands and their capital Amsterdam now has three X's in it. And the reason why Dutch is because uh, one of Litershire's languages is Dutch, and we're owned by the Dutch. The red right here is to do with a cross of blood due to the wars that happened. The white is to do with the peace and freedom, and the blue is to do with the UK and how we're also owned by the UK. And this entire this entire bit right here is just to do with how we're owned by the UK and we're a UK symbolization, hence La Ayrshire, like Ayrshire. So yeah, La Ayrshire date that we started was 1920 September 14th, 1929, when we got independence from Ayrshire. That was, of course, for the actual day, it was September 14th, 2021, but this is for this. And and we were a very small country, about the size of Andorra, roughly. And we had one mini war against Rompostolok. It was a small island and they had a dangerous plant on it. It was very bad, and Ayrshire didn't like it, so Ayrshire declared war on this little country. And during this little country, and during the war of this little country, we realised they were allies with France, so it was very difficult, but we managed to win it. It was a very good war. And our president at the time was, fuck. George, is George, I couldn't tell you right now, but yeah, it was our first ever president. We had no idea. He was just we were just like, hey, do you want to be president? And yep. Next is when Ayrshire fully started. It was like 1945, 1946. Our president was George Hauser, very famous for being a dictator because he was from Ayrshire, our all-time enemies. People didn't really believe him. He was there for 17 years until 1964, and he had a few mini wars here and there. He lost a few, he won a few, until he got shot in the head 17 times in Londondershire. 1964, iconic year. Freddie Badlanu was president. Names might sound familiar, and when he was president, we had four major wars. Those four major wars were against two countries to do with national, two countries to do with Capaldi. And during those wars, we won two and lost two. One of those countries that was owned by Capaldi really wanted our capital, but we declined. And after a few negotiating with Charlie and Seedorf, they agreed to add the initials of the president, so Seedorf, and so the full name was Seedorf Taylor, so ST. And this was the year that Leicester's capital was Warrington ST. Now it's 1972 and 3. In that range, Ben Powell, very famous president. He was the start of the dark era. He started many wars. He wanted the blood. He wanted the wars. He was great. We won loads, but also we lost loads. It's war. Very famous president. He was known for his darkness and very good humor. He was the tallest president as well, nearly 6'6", and very cool. One day, he was doing a press conference in Warrington until 107 miles away. His arch nemesis, Donald Lee, is in a bush with a massive sniper, and what Donald does is aim it right at Ben's head and just pow. Ben is dead. Everyone's shot, running away, and 2 people were injured and 4 are dead. Now, it's 4 years later. 4 years later. It's 1980, and a lot of stuff is going on. Donald wants the country to become better. He thinks that he would be better than Ben, 100%. He was great. He was close. He was close to the 1990s and just very good until he was exiled for being too crazy for literature. Now, 1981. This guy, Archie Harold, or formerly as me, Archie Bunker Harold, yeah, is president. People believe me because I'm a young talent, strong and very good, and not crazy as Donald, but not as dark as Ben. People believe great things. A few years later, then the famous 1999 war. It was against our rivals Ayrshire, and during it, it was a great war. A lot of fight was happening. Many people were injured. Ayrshire actually lost 9% of their population during the war. But afterwards, we won. We were victorious. People thought many things, but a few years later, Archie Harold was in a bridge in Gillook, Warrington, ST. He was looking for the nice views. He loves his views, and until a family with Aaron Maltman, they're from Ayrshire. A lot of people don't like Archie from Ayrshire for how victorious he was and how good he was. So what they thought was, let's kill Archie Harold. And Aaron and his family were right beside him, stabbed him right in the spine, and Archie fell down. Then Archie's bodyguards saw and stabbed Aaron back while his family was running away. But it was too late. Archie was dead. A few years later, it's 2011 in the Ayrshire time, and a woman and her husband is at Archie's grave. Until something strange happens. She hears crackling, and almost something's like coming out of it, and it's Archie found alive. The woman just absolutely sprints to the south of Ayrshire of Warrington ST and Lincolnshire. She runs around saying, "Hey everyone, Archie's alive!" Of course, nobody believes her. Until a curious guy checked. The thing was open, and everyone knew Archie was somewhere. Archie was swam to Ayrshire, and in Ayrshire he was in a pub, and a scientist called Billy McManaman finds out. It's very crazy, and it was on the newspapers for everything. Then Archie got a plane back to Ayrshire and started to say to everyone, "Hello, it's me," and explained he thought he couldn't be the best for president. He was roughly in his late 40s at the time, and he thought he wasn't good for president. So for many years they tried to find a good president. few years later, they're manufacturing and trying to find people. Until Ayrshire realised, Ayrshire doesn't have anyone, no president, so they could just go over there and start a war. So Archie had to step in and become president. During it, of course, he's 51 at the time, so yeah, so he's definitely not in his prime. And during it, an Ayrshire person goes into their drug van. The drug van is the solution to Ayrshire. So yeah, they're fucked. And they find drugs that could basically explode the entire of Ayrshire. And during it, they use all of them to make something and then bomb it. Ayrshire, gone. Less than 100,000 people are alive. They have no idea what to do. 2024, or last year, they finally found a group of people and decided the country to vote who I think it would be. And the winner was former Goldberdick, or Ayrshires partner, and former Goldberg president, or Ayrshires pals basically, William Lamington won. Very famous guy, very young as well, so they expect good things. Also during it, William Archie, the vice, Gary Thompson, those three people are trying to make Ayrshire's population back and become the best country and stand tall of Ayrshire. That's what Ayrshire's looking like right now. That's the story of Ayrshire. Here's a few other things. The language. It consists of Dutch, a bit of French, and just gibberish. It's very cool. And Skellum is the base of it. Skellum means hello, or hi, or hi is basically Skellof, which used to be the old capital of Ayrshire. And Skellum is like basically just the word of Ayrshire. It was, basically it's how the Ayrshire was started off. In Ayrshire films and stuff, you always hear, the only word you hear is Skellum. And then they use other words like Kashishka, or just means hello. So Skellum, hello. So Skellum Vakashashask means hello, my name is. So for example, Skellum Vakashashas Arshi. Yeah, so very self-explanatory, very cool place. That is the end of this. I hope you enjoyed. This took me a while, so